Hey, hello, Gilana Hemya. It is Saturday evening here in Israel. Wanted to wish you a happy Saturday. I spent a lot of my time reading today. It's been some time when I spent so many hours reading, and there is something that happens to me when I read. It's like this, I get into a meditative state. It's almost like mindfulness. And especially books that are such as this one that I'm going to be reading a paragraph today. And where, if any of you are familiar with Women Who Run with Wolves, she is an amazing author. If you can see her name there, Clarissa Pinkola Estes. I started this book like months ago, and then I put it down. It's over 500 pages, and the writing is pretty small. So I just took my time with it, and so I've been called to pick it up again. And really, actually, I wanted to talk about it because it assisted me on my journey. I think I started reading it like maybe in February or something like that. Maybe before then, could have been in November when I started my journey with my business. And so it really just reminded me to go within. And she's a Jungian. She's into Jungian psychology, and she goes into myths and stories. And I just love her because, it says the subtitle is Myths and Stories of the Wild Woman Archetype. And those of you who are resonating with me, and all women actually have a wild woman within them. And it's up to us to awaken it. So I feel like that's really part of my mission. As I talk about desires and listening to your soul, it's listening to the wildness inside of you and to allow that wildness to emerge, because that is your soul speaking. And the part that I've been reading about today was sometimes we have a calling to go to leave our home, to leave our children, just to go within. And sometimes that means that can mean just closing the door and just really feeling the quiet and the solitude and communing with our soul. Other times it can mean actually physically going somewhere without our kids or family, our partner, anybody, just wanting to be alone, needing the solitude. And she discusses how, in some cases there's no need to spend any money. It's just a matter of connecting with yourself. And it can even be in a boardroom full of people where you just like kind of shut out, and I always called myself a daydreamer. And so she says that is commingling with your soul. That is like communing with yourself. So I suppose in her terms, I was constantly communing with my soul much of my life. It continues now. So I love to just go out there, just to kind of watch things happen, be quiet, and, go within. That's part of my nature. And she says that's part of all of our natures, probably to different levels in terms of different people. But all of us are called to do that as we, as all of our lives, and to listen and to heed the call. So I'm just going to read just a paragraph to you because I feel like it just really hit me. Many words she says hits me, but I felt like I needed to choose something, so I chose this one. I won't get too much into what she's talking about, but she's talking about going into the water and, and what that means. So that's the context of it. It says, the old Inuits say that the breath of a god and the breath of a human, when commingled, cause a person to create an intense and holy poetry. It is that holy poetry and singing we are after. We want powerful words and songs that can be heard underwater and over land. It is the wild singing we are after. Our chance to use the wild language we are learning by heart under the sea. When a woman speaks her truth, learning by heart, it is the wild singing we are after, our chance to use the wild language we are learning by heart under the sea. When a woman speaks her truth, fires up her intention and feeling, stays tight with the instinctive nature she is singing, she is living in the wild breath stream of the soul. To live this way is a cycle in itself, one meant to go on, go on, go on. And that's all I'm going to read to you. You know, I used to love to read about the Inuits when I was in college, and any kind of, you know, people who are really connected to nature. And so a lot of what she writes about, she connects to her own Mexican background, and she has some Spanish words in there. So those of you might relate to that part of it. And I just feel like she really talks about communing with yourself, you know, and she talks about different archetypes. I mean, I don't want to go on and on about the book because this is not a book review. But what I did want to say about this, that what it really calls me to is to really feel into who I really am and allow myself to be. You know, Brene Brown talks about this in different terms. And there's so many authors right now that really speak to this theme. But she just connects to me on a whole other level. She really gets into the wildness of our nature, you know, and she brings so much mythological references that if any of you grew up with any kind of mythological stories, whether it's Greek mythology, Hindu mythology, whatever mythology it is that you're into, I believe there could be Chinese mythology. It really ignites me. Like I couldn't put it down today. I just kept, you know, getting more and more immersed in it because it spoke to me. It allowed me to not have to make any, what's the word? I don't have to have any reasons for what I do. Like I just am, and it's enough. I just need to go, and that's it. Like you don't have to tell people what is going on with you. You know, you feel like you need to commune with nature. If your children are, you know, really, you're feeling like you don't have any space, create space. Like it's up to you to do what you need to do for you, because that is what is calling you. Your soul is calling you. For those of you that are feeling like there's something holding you back, then you aren't listening to the voice inside, because the voice inside is showing you the way. And it's just up to you to listen and really trust and love and believe in that voice. I say that with so much conviction because this is what I'm doing, and this is what makes me feel good. And this is what makes my children feel good, you know, together as a unit. And other people, you know, look at me and they're like, whoa, how do you do that? And it's not even a question of thinking anymore. It's just feeling into what it is that I really desire and just doing it without any questions. That is how strong it is. That's how strong my wild nature is. And that's what I'm asking you to feel into. Feel into the wildness of your soul and allow that to emerge in all its greatness, because that is where you are going to fly. And if you're interested in flying, if you're interested to get out of the routine of the normal civilized world, allow yourself to move, allow yourself to move house, allow yourself to travel, do whatever it is your desire is calling you to do. This is, you know, it even talks about how wolves have this kind of, you know, they leave the pack and then they come in. And, you know, when we're having our menstruation, we need to be in a silent place. And many cultures have that built into their society because that is what a woman needs. And, you know, I know that I used to sometimes, you know, judge it. But in actuality, you know, that was the way that's what made a lot of sense. And even the moon calls to me. She talks about the moon. You know, it just made so much sense to me how women, you know, move, how our moods move with the moon. And, you know, the full moon and the new moon and the waning moon and the half moon, they're all very significant to us. And I'm asking you to listen to that for yourself. How do you feel? What are you feeling at the moment? You know, allow yourself to feel the emotion. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is. And also know and believe that what your heart is really saying to you is the truth. So I want to leave you with those words. And if it's calling to you, I'd invite you to look this book up in Amazon or or on Kindle, whatever it is, and it's a great book to read. So with that, I wish you a beautiful, beautiful Saturday, and sending you so much love and light. Be wild. Bye-bye.